So in the past 24 hours or so, you probably saw a big trend going on Twitter and just the internet in general, which is the Studio Ghibli AI situation, which is OpenAI has recently announced a new tool where it was supposed to be super advanced and super great for generating images. And one of the biggest things that was popping off from it was Studio Ghibli style artwork. And I mean, of course, we say artwork, but it's really slop. And that's pretty much what's been flooding the internet in the past 24 hours. And it's led to a lot of people being disappointed, but a lot of people saying, ha, look at this, look how cool it is, man. Let me explain. So for anyone who stays on Twitter more than they should be, you probably saw this tweet pop off. It's a tremendous alpha right now and sending your wife photos of y'all converted to Studio Ghibli anime. Now, granted, you're not doing anything special. You're not doing anything fancy. I don't know why this is really one of those things that people will even say. It just sounds so weird to even read this statement. Actually, it says tremendous alpha right now and sending your wife photos of y'all converted to a Studio Ghibli anime. I don't know why I would want anyone to ever send my partner images of me and them in a file in a style. Someone just takes my photo and converts it into another anime style. I think it's kind of weird, bro. I mean, if the person wants to do it themselves, they can, but I don't know. I think this is just so odd. But before we get deeper into that, let me explain the origin and sort of how all this started going off. So it says right here, introducing 4.0 image generation. It says unlocking useful and valuable image generation with a natively blah, 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 a bunch of jargon. But anyway, they announced all this. It was talking about character consistency, text rendering, upload and restyle, detailed directions, transparent layers, so it's pretty much trying to go for like a lot of people will always say, hey, this stuff isn't here to take jobs. It isn't going to do it. What about this, huh? Where are y'all at now? Yeah, this is definitely coming for jobs. Let's not sugarcoat it, right? So show an example right here. It says create a photorealistic image of two witches in their 20s, one ash balayage, one with long wavy auburn hair reading a street sign, and here it is. Realistically, anyone who's going to try and downplay this and say this isn't impressive, this isn't cool, you're coping. You're literally lying to yourself. Again, your average person is going to look at this and be like, wow, this is amazing. Like right here, it says, can you create me a cute minimalist raccoon eating a strawberry sticker? Use a thick white border and transparent background. There you go. And then try a different minimalist style and a gray raccoon. It says, oh, can you add a chew mark to the strawberry and maybe some red mess around the mouth? Yeah, cooked. We are cooked. There is no other way around it. People are going to really start flocking to this, and especially I think the Studio Ghibli trend has kind of shown that already. But I want to at least inform you exactly what this is first before we really get into what's been going on the past 24 hours. But yeah, they'll show you this as well too. Magnetic poetry on a fridge in a mid-century home. Yeah, comic strip, science experiment. You already know schools are going to start using this, dog. Like, schools are literally going to use some of this stuff, and it's actually pretty sad. Then they had here, menu, invitation. Like, people were talking about graphic designer jobs are probably out the window. I wouldn't be surprised. You're going to have a lot of people who are going to browse this, a lot of CEOs, a lot of people who are cheap, don't want to pay any money, and they're going to look at that and be like, hey, that looks amazing. It looks great. Who needs a graphic designer? Who needs artists? We got this now. It literally just makes it right there. Why even put in the effort? And I mean, that's sad. That literally is sad. That is awful to see. But this video isn't to go into a whole deep dive of this, but just to inform you why the Studio Ghibli trend has happened all of a sudden and, sort of what is actually going on. So yeah, continuing from this insufferable tweet. Now they said the Ghiblification will continue until morale improves. My kids now demand to be Ghiblified. Oh my God, I just did this with my baby. Great call. Ada as an anime dog. My phone right now. You saved my marriage sex. Now, granted, I think some of these people are just legit trolling, but it doesn't change the fact that a lot of people are using this. And I don't know, there's something that's always kind of, odd about just, to me, those are like personal photos. At least I would view them as personal photos, and then just uploading it to AI and say, hey, turn it into a Studio Ghibli style. But that's just me personally. But I understand that in this day and age, a lot of people don't care about privacy, and that's the last thing on their mind. They're like, sorry, been taken anyway. Who cares? So this is like the lowest of the bottom. If you get something in return, you get a reward in the sense of Studio Ghibli style image. They're gonna look at it like, ha ha, It's totally worth it. So this was another tweet that popped off, said iconic movie scene, Studio Ghibli style. This is so much fun. Oh, word. It's fun just uploading scenes from a movie and then having it be turned into a Studio Ghibli version. I don't know. I mean, I have different definitions of fun, but hey, that's just me personally, but I don't think there's anything really rewarding about just taking literal other scenes from movies and then just watching it be turned into something within like a snap of a finger from a generator. Personally, I think it's pretty underwhelming. There's no fun to be had in it, but hey, you do you, I guess, right? Continuing on, here's another one. This is another one that really popped off with 19.8 million views. Says it's been 24 hours since OpenAI unexpectedly shook the AI image world with 4.0 image generation. Here are 14 mind-blowing examples so far, 100% AI generated, Studio Ghibli style memes. Yeah, so I mean, if you've been on the internet long enough, then you probably recognize a lot of these images. This was another one, said graphic design. Someone says, I'm sorry, but do you understand it's over for graphical designers? Like over. This was, I guess this was apparently made with AI, which is, yeah, it's wild. Then this is another one. Looks like supposed to be John Wick style. Also, I just want to highlight this dumb tweet I saw right here. Someone said that is like saying it was over for restaurants when the first recipe book came out in 1654. Wow. Okay. I don't know what universe they're living in, but hey, go off, buddy. Another one said a screenshot of a Wikipedia page with proper explanations for how cats work. So it's to create an image of a screenshot of a Wikipedia page for cats with images and proper explanation for how cats work. Now, this, I mean, the fact that it created a Wikipedia page, who knows what misinformation is going to be created with that in due time. I can already see that happening. Diagrams. Ad creatives, marketing assets, people have been pretty much making a lot of stuff. And the reason I wanted to show you all this is because, yeah, if you really want to downplay this, you want to act like that this isn't a big deal. Because anytime I make a video covering these topics, I always see a lot of people trying to downplay. Say, oh, I can see right there. That's clearly AI. That's AI. To your regular person, that's not. It's not. To them, it looks good enough. To them, that looks great. And just because you want to pixel peep, or because you already know beforehand that it was AI and now you know what to look for and you were looking for certain things, congratulations. But your opinion, realistically, in the grand scheme of things, doesn't matter when it comes to the overall general consumer. They're going to look at this and be like, wow, I love Studio Ghibli. Wow, I like all this stuff, but I don't want to pay people. And this looks great. I'm going to use this. That's the honest sentiment. Like, a lot of people don't want to really believe that, and I think a lot of people want to live in copium that, you know, these generative models suck, and the reality is they don't. I think at this point in time, it's really, you'd be hard pressed to try and argue that these look like trash. I think it's sad. I think it's awful. I think it's horrible what's really going on now. But to act like that these look bad or this looks awful, far from it. This is just scary, if anything. And then continuing on, here's a couple more examples. This was another one that was very interesting. It said art just became accessible. Art, this is wild. Someone said, yes, art has always been accessible. I know that, but this is still art and has become easier for anyone to turn their imagination into reality. Now stop being pedantic and go raise this high skill art that you speak of. The bar has been raised. Brother, you didn't do anything. What are you talking about? What imagination? You just typed in the prompt and said, make this image into something else, into a different style that already exists, that someone else already has. That makes no sense. You didn't. What bar has been raised? If anything, the bar has been lowered for the entry on just how much can be produced. I mean, the Studio Ghibli trend should already be good enough to know that. Like, I don't know what Looney Tunes planet are we living in to think that, you know, that this is now creating art and making it more accessible. It's not really making it accessible in the sense of, like, if we're here to use this logic, right? Like, let me explain this again. Whenever you use these tools, you're commissioning a robot more or less, right? But it's just a free commission. But you say here that making art more accessible, but that same logic, you could go to an actual artist and pay them, and that's still accessible. It's the same level of accessibility, except one you have to pay for, and it's made by someone that's going to take time, whereas another one's made by a robot that you get instantaneously and it's free. Yeah, there's different parameters for this, but it's the same concept. There's no, the accessibility is the same. This is actually just making me just lose all my thoughts here, because it makes no sense. This is the most odd statement to read. I guess when you read through this, the argument can be, oh, well, you know, it's creating a new realm of, you know, what type of prompts you could put in to create something imaginative, something wild. But Nah, I don't think so, bro. Now, of course, Sam Altman had to open his mouth and he had to speak on this as well too, because of course, man behind OpenAI says, hey, be me. Grind for a decade trying to help make super intelligence to cure cancer or whatever. Mostly no one cares for the first 7.5 years. Then for 2.5 years, everyone hates you for everything. Wake up one day to hundreds of messages. Look, I made you into a twink Ghibli style. Ha ha. And then, yeah, if you're looking at his profile picture, oh yeah, this was another gem that he made. So one man's slop is another man's treasure. Okay. But yeah, and then he has a Studio Ghibli style profile picture now, pretty much just giving his apply. He's saying, yeah, let's go. It's like, look at this, we're taking over. But, you know, I don't know. I think, you know, the thing that's sad about this realistically is the charm that is behind Studio Ghibli is because you know that's made by a very selective group of people that are really crafted and well versed in what they do. And so you know what they create has a lot of love, care, and passion put behind it, and that's going to be something creative and unique. And then when you have something like this and people are just literally making their own versions of Studio Ghibli style slop, then it really, in my opinion, it just ruins the novelty behind it and really just, I don't know the right word. I'm trying to think of the right word to say for this, but if you know what I'm talking about. But it just ruins the specialty of it, because now you just see a lot of people making all this slop, and now it's just going to make people sick and tired of seeing it once this trend dies out within like another day or two anyways. But the thing is, the reason why things such as Studio Ghibli artwork that is made by actual humans are cherished and enjoyed for is because it's so hard to even really get to the point where you make something that looks so good and that is actually high quality, and then to add on top of that, you know, an actual human made it. You know, that's a recipe for success, and you can't really recreate that with a robot. Whenever you look at all like Studio Ghibli style generated images, I can't help but look at it and just be like, this is slop, this is trash, there's nothing creative behind it, there's nothing great. Yes, you can say arguably, yes, does it look good? Technically, yes, but was there any creative input behind it? Was there any creative decisions put behind on, you know, actually making the image? No, it was just something I was given a prompt and say, hey, turn this original image into a Studio Ghibli style image, and that's literally it. And yes, there's a discussion that is OpenAI training off Studio Ghibli material. 9 out of 10, yes, there's no shot that they weren't. I'm fairly confident that OpenAI did train off the Studio Ghibli works, and yeah, they trained off copyright material. There's no shot they just happened to find a bunch of random artists who happened to draw that style, and then they just happened to have a collective of all that, and it was able to discern what Studio Ghibli style is. And then the fact that when you put it into OpenAI, it would generate, it knew what you were asking for. So I think it would have to have trained off those materials to be able to have outputs like that. But hey, would love to be proven wrong. I sincerely doubt I'll be proven wrong, but hey, you never know. And I just want to highlight this right here because it made an update talking about that I guess you can't make the images no more. It said by Wednesday night, the system started to block some users' requests for images in the style of Ghibli, and some, though not all, other artists. It says OpenAI sent a statement about GPT's latest image generation technology that it was taking a conservative approach to images using artists' work in this model. We've added a refusal which triggers when a user attempts to generate an image in the style of a living artist, the company said. An OpenAI spokesperson told Business Insider on Wednesday night that the company continued to prevent generations in the style of an individual living artist, but did permit broader studio styles. We are always learning from real world use and feedback, and we'll keep refining our policies as we go. I mean, I would just be honest, your boy right here having this setup, I mean, to me, that kind of screams that he don't give a fuck. I'm gonna be real, bro. I don't think he cares. You can have as many PR statements in the world that you want, but it doesn't change the fact that this did happen, and you let it happen for a pretty good hefty second. And yeah, I mean, if you really were trying to be conservative and you were trying to really be considerate and mindful, also this is bright as fuck. If you were trying to really be conservative and you're trying to be mindful of actual living artists, and you know, I mean, even then, why does it just have to be a living artist? It should be all artists in general. But putting that to the side, if you're really trying to be conservative, as you were trying to say in your PR statement, then this situation would never happen to begin with. But I'll leave it here. You made this far into the video. Consider getting a like, subscribe to the channel. Leave a comment what you think. Have a great day. Yeah.